Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for organic Bible study that's fresh and delicious. Today we're looking at Psalm 57 all this week, and today verses 4 and 5 of Psalm 57. These are good ones. Now, he complains here about, he said it back in verse 3, the man that's going to swallow him up. Of course, we referred that to Saul, and we have that in the introduction, that this is the time when David had fled from Saul in the cave. Saul came in the cave. David and his men were in there. Saul didn't know it, and they could have killed Saul, but they didn't. And so then Saul leaves, and David and his men flee away from that place. And he said there that the reproach of him that would swallow me up, the him there must be Saul. Of course, it could be also our great enemy, the great enemy of the soul. Now we come to verse 4 and verse 5. My soul is among lions. I lie even among them that are set on fire. Even the sons of men, whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue a sharp sword. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let thy glory be above the earth. So verses 4 and 5 are two completely different verses, aren't they? The first one is about the sons of men. You'll notice the beginning of that last piece there in verse 4. Even the sons of men. And what do we learn about the sons of men here? Well, let's look at this. They're lions. They're like lions. What do lions do? Well, the lion is a predator, top of the food chain, kills for its food. I lie even among them that are set on fire. What in the world is that about? Set on fire? Well, we've seen this before, and they're set on fire because of their anger and their iniquity and their sinfulness. They're burning with hatred, with jealousies and all kinds of things. So yeah, set on fire. That's what motivates the attack against David and against the righteous in general. And then you'll notice it says, whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue is a sharp sword. Now, that's quite an interesting analogy, isn't it? That similitude of spears and arrows for teeth. And the tongue, again, shows up as the great instrument of destruction. The tongue is a sharp sword. Now, of course, we see this in another way later on in the book of Revelation when we see Christ coming and from his mouth proceeds a sharp two-edged sword. But here it's the tongue that's the sword. So the words that they speak, and remember that's the great weapon in the Psalter, the words that are spoken, the tongue, the mouth, the lips, what's being said, that's the thing that's damaging. And David says, these men, well, they're like this. Why are men like this? Men are like this because of their corrupt nature. We all start at the same place. We have inherited a nature from Adam that is inherited to us, placed upon us, and we also engage in it ourselves. So it is there actually because of our own sin, and it is there positionally because of who we are in Adam, the first Adam. We're his children, and that passes down to us. And so corruption is just a part of who we are as people, and it's what keeps us from being in relationship with God. The only thing that can break that chain of corruption is the blood of Christ. And if you trust in him, he will free you from your sin, from your addictions, from your depressions, from your failures. He will come in and he will make all things new. We will walk in newness of life in Christ. Now the second verse here, verse 5, be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, let thy glory be above all the earth. You'll notice that it has nothing to do with these men. God is above and beyond the realm of men and all of their undertakings. And this is also a refrain that is repeated down in verse 11. If you look at verse 11, you'll find the same thing there again. So it acts like a binding agent. That's what Kidmer calls it in his commentary. He says this is like a binding agent for the psalm. It occurs right here in the middle of the psalm, and then we have it again at the end. It sets up for us this theme that God is above all this mess, and he's going to take care of it. All right, join me again tomorrow. We're going to pick up verses 6 and 7 then on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.